Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 104. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benezowitz, and the NBA season for our teams. We're recording this. There's still a couple games going on. Is essentially at the halfway point or the All-Star break, even though it's not 41 games. You know what I'm talking about. Nets losers tonight versus the Washington Wizards. The Knicks losers from the night before versus the Brooklyn Nets, in which I got to be honest, Alex, which was top two favorite wins of the season, going into the Garden, getting the win, and coming back from 28 points down was tremendous. I enjoyed it. I loved every second of it. It was one of the few games this year I actually jumped out of my seat and had that kind of riveting excitement. So, Alex, how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm sure you enjoyed that game. I mean, we can get into that in a second. And yeah, it sucked. Thibs is somehow still the coach, and Nets lost tonight, and we got a lot to talk about in this episode. Action packed, that's for sure.
Yeah, Nets lose to the Washington Wizards. A game they were in it. They felt like it was always at 10 points, and then could never get over the hump. Ish Smith. Say that 10 times.
Ish Smith, Clyde's favorite player.
I have a little bit of like when I was in college, I took a broadcast class, and the teacher said you have a slight lisp.
You're like, what? No,
I said that. And I told my mom, and she was like, don't let him tell you that. That's not true. So it's been in my head. So thanks, asshole, for that. Anyway, yeah, Nets losers. Ish Smith was great. We come to the All-Star break. Thank God. I think it's safe to say that both of us are happy that we made it here to the halfway point, or the break, that we can just kind of reset, refuel, and then get, for at least from the Nets perspective, make their championship push.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, if you think the Nets are title contenders, I mean, sure. I mean, I think that they could win a championship. I think they could win, but are they what they were when you thought you had Harden, Kyrie, and Durant? No, they're not. They're a level below that, and especially since Simmons is such a wild card, and he doesn't come up big in the playoffs either. So you can't be so confident as you were before, but you can be hopeful that it's possible, and that's all you can ever ask for as a fan is hope that you can win it.
I'm definitely more relieved, and I feel better about their chances where they were earlier in the season. I mean, yeah, of course, if James Harden bought in and was into it, Nets had a better chance. But I would say, I think in a weird way, it was a blessing in disguise that Durant went out and that they did make the trade, because if James Harden was doing the shit that he was doing, like, he didn't want to be here and it wasn't going to work, and there would have been some sort of disaster ending for the Nets. Now, I don't know what's in store for them, what's going to happen, but at least everybody now wants to be here, and that has made a difference. Like, there is a cloud that has been lifted over this organization, and you can feel it. Now, do they have the talent with the three guys? No, of course not. If those three bought in and were playing at the same time, lights out. Like, this is it. Let's go. Right. Let's have fun. But now, at least, at the margins, the Nets have more rebounding with Drummond. They've got more shooting with Seth Curry and playmaking. And we'll see how it all fits together. The big wild card is Kyrie Irving. We don't need to talk about that for the 800 millionth time. We'll see what happens in the future. But yeah,
wait, is he vaccinated? No, he's not vaccinated.
He's not vaccinated. So I'm surprised you didn't know that. But we're just kind of waiting to find out. But let's get to the net Nick game. Excuse me.
Ugh. Yes,
because I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I loved every second of it. I know.
Well, not the beginning. You didn't love it.
No, it was a disaster. And it was so funny to me because all the Knicks fans were like, just wait. And I'm like, have you seen this Net team? They don't have it tonight. And I was wrong.
I mean, I bet on the Nets 17 plus 17 and a half at halftime. I didn't think the Nets were going to win outright, but I knew they were coming back. It was just the Knicks third quarters and, national TV, the crowd has no juice. It was just, there's no shot. Like, the Knicks were just going to blow the doors off the Nets. Like, there was just no shot. And every Knicks fan that I know, friends wise, that were texting me or on Twitter, nobody was confident. Nobody. And that just tells you all you need to know about where this franchise is. The third quarter that didn't come out sluggish, and that is on coaching, man. I'm sorry. I don't know if you agree with that point, but if you're coming out of the halftime, speeches, and I don't know if they even do that anymore in the pros, but if you're coming out of halftime and you're flat all the time, are you even doing anything at halftime with the players? Are you even trying to motivate them? I know they're pros. You don't need to motivate them, quote unquote, all the time.
Right.
But are you even giving them a strategy? Are you even like adjusting anything? Even if you're up, you have to adjust. Like, what are you doing? I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I first off, it was funny because there was reports that Steve Nash gave like a rah-rah speech in the locker room of that game. And everybody's always like, Steve Nash is the most boring coach ever. The clap guy, clapping, never gives any kind of like fiery speeches or whatever. But I thought it was a telling quote from Cam Thomas in the post game.
Yeah.
Where he's like, we knew there would be some sort of letdown. Like he alluded to the fact that the Knicks have this trend where they let you back in games. And I heard that quote. I was like, ugh, like that would bother me that the other team knows that there's going to be a point. Not saying that they thought they would win, but they knew that they weren't going to lose by 50. They knew at some point they would make it a game, which they did. They cut it to like 7, 8, 6, 7 in the third quarter. Then the Knicks pushed it back up to 16, 17 points. And then the roof fell in, and here come the Nets. Cam Thomas, Seth Curry, and then LaMarcus Aldridge were just unstoppable. And the Knicks didn't hit any shots in the fourth quarter, besides maybe a couple Julius Randles when they retook the lead with like 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you that in 2022, there are no secrets in the NBA or any sport. Every scouting report, everybody knows everything about everything. And that's why when Knicks fans are saying, just play Alec Burks, just play, the guys we want to trade, showcase them and raise their value. It doesn't mean shit. You could have sat Julius Randle down. You could have sat Alec Burks down, sat any of these players down, and the value would have been the same because the teams know what is going on with your team. You can have one guy on that organization that works in the organization. Hey, follow the Knicks, pay attention, check their socials, do everything and know what is going on. And you can find out. It's not hard. It's all right there. It's free, So you follow enough. Let's say you follow enough Sacramento Kings fans. You'll know what's going on in Kings Twitter and the Kings world.
Which you do.
Yeah, which I do now. Yeah, of course. I don't know. Man.
I was alarmed by some of the Thibodeau stuff. And I hear people bitching all the time, like Dolan J. Trump. Shout out to him who called into WFAN today and gave us a plug. So that was kind of hot. Thank you for doing that. But I got sidetracked thinking about Dolan J. Trump and my mind got lost. I was just thinking about. Well, I thought the movie did there was sexy. I appreciated that. But just there's no with Thibodeau. I thought his rotations were just strange. And it was the first time. Oh, here's what I again do. Knicks fans always complaining about things, but this is I'm like really intently watching it, not just casually watching the Knicks. I'm watching every second, making my observation with the net side. And my thought process was like the Obi Toppin thing. Now I can I saw it really clear today or watching this. And it was just strange because that wasn't like Obi Toppin played great. He didn't do anything outstanding. He had a couple of nice drives. His threes were terrible, but he had a couple nice plays where he got to the hoop, and he actually helped them spark some of that energy at the end of that first quarter burst that opened the lead.
Right.
But it's just the part where it's like you can't even see what he would look like on the court with Julius or get extended minutes is fucked up because you spent your 8th pick in the draft 2 years ago, and that's what you're getting. And I know Knicks fans will say, "Oh, there was other guys picked ahead. There was other guys picked ahead." But with the need for a point guard, and who knows how good he'll turn up. There's a lot of hype around this guy for someone that hasn't done really that much in his career yet. But you know where I'm going. The Halliburton stuff, it's like at least he would fit. And the Knicks taking Toppin now, and I know you were hyped about it and you were excited.
Yeah.
It's just if he doesn't get run, you can't even make a decision if it was as a Knicks fan, you can't even sit down and go, man, that Obi Toppin pick was bad. They made the wrong choice. You don't know.
No, I mean, he has one game. Didn't he have he had a great game? Was it against the Raptors? We was 19-9 when Randall was out or something. It's just, he finally got to showcase himself. Sorry, but I stomped on the end of your statement.
No, I had nothing left to say. Okay. 2 minutes for me on the Knicks is quite enough.
It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, Thibs he's lost it, man. He's done. I mean, it just is what it is. We talked about on the last episode, and it's like it's insubordinate to let the organization trade Kevin Knox is essentially a nothing and a second round pick, which is something, but it's not, that valuable for a guy who was the 10th pick in the draft 1 year, right? Reddish was a 10th pick, I think.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there, right? Let's say he was a top
early,
10, 12 pick,
late lottery.
And you don't play him. And it's because you didn't want the trade, it seemed, you know what I mean? And that's insubordinate. Like, how do you keep a guy around like that? And then he starts, Derrick Rose is out and Kemba's out, and he starts Alec Burks as a shooting guard at point guard. He doesn't play quickly at point guard. It's just ridiculous how these weird things that he has, where it's like you have to play Taj Gibson 18 minutes, even when Mitch is in foul trouble. You have to keep pushing Taj the whole game. If Mitch is in foul trouble, throw Sims in there, man. Like, give him a shot. Give him. You think Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge are gonna be able to stick with Sims? He would jump over them. Like, are you kidding? You know what I mean? Not like that he's better, but he might be. I mean, we don't know. You know what I mean? Mitchell Robinson was once a second round pick too. You got these guys, and for some reason there's this weird rule that Randall and Obi can't play together. And like, I don't for the life of me understand why Randall and Obi can't play together, but Randall and Taj Gibson can play together. But Randall and whoever is the teacher's pet can play together with Randall. It doesn't make any sense, man.
And I would say maybe it doesn't work. Maybe he proves that they go out and it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. But if you've gone 60 games, you have to at least experiment, which is so funny to me because Steve Nash is like the ultimate experimenter, and all he does is fiddle with lineups and bring different guys.
Drives you crazy to a certain.
And as a Net fan, it's too much. It's like you never know. Yeah. It's this lineup, it's that lineup, and there's no consistency. And that's one of the things that actually bothered James Harden as the reports came out, that he didn't like all these lineup changes. And there's a lot of factors that led into why it was worse than that could have been and should have been. Hope for what we've gone over. So that was one of the things. So it's just funny. Like, here's Tom Thibodeau, who is so stuck on this. And then you've got Steve Nash, and you don't know these rotations. Like right now, Net fans are pissed because Cam Thomas is coming off the bench, and they like the spark that he brings and the energy that he brings. But it's also, I think Net fans are sick and tired of being down in the first quarter. So let's just start Cam Thomas. Let's make some moves.
But it doesn't work that way. Yeah, it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work that way. And just speaking of that Cam Thomas shot was, I jumped. The
three at the end.
That was a jump worthy three for me.
For you, of course.
For me, it was a jump worthy three that here's this rookie coming into the game, taking over in the Garden, and just exploding in the fourth quarter, scoring 16 points, and then hitting a very difficult step back three to essentially ice the game and put the Nets up 6. Was thrilling to see. And I know a topic that you want to get into got Net fans excited at the Garden, who were making some noise on that shot, which was, as a Nets fan, like, I truly adored it.
It was your wet dream. Yes, it was. It was the wet dream come true. Yes,
twice.
Yes, and you know what? Impressive. Like, to explain why the Net, like, this is going to come off wrong because people look at me as this Nets hater, which I don't like them. But I feel like I'm fair, and especially doing this with you, I've become more in tune with what's going on with Net fans and like understand and respect you guys a little more than I did originally, because I thought a lot of you guys were like this stupid troll accounts on Twitter, but it's not the case. So anyway, last week I came on this podcast, Bad Weather Fans, on our trade deadline reaction show, and I told you that I'm done. I'm checked out. This is a joke. The organization doesn't care. Then I don't care. I'm not going out to a game. Fuck this. And that's pretty much what I felt like. And I feel like I wasn't alone in that feeling. A lot of fans checked out, partly because they stink, and partly because they did nothing to improve the team, and partly because Thibs is still the coach when it's obvious that he is hurting the team more than he is helping. Right. So all of that together, right? And then you have the weekend comes up, right? So you have the weekend, and Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. So, everybody's got their parties and Super Bowl Sunday. Monday, Valentine's Day. You take out your girl, you do whatever. Maybe you go out and try to pick up girls on Valentine's Day, which is actually a pretty good day to pick up girls on Valentine's Day, because, if they're out and single, that's a good time to pick up a girl. But guess what? You're out, you're doing things. Then Tuesday, you rest, right? Wednesday, it comes around. Are you going to go shell out $150 to go to the Garden to watch the dead Knicks? Fuck that, dude. I don't even care. I was watching the game in the first half, and they're up 28. They're hitting all these threes, and I'm not even cheering. I'm not even excited. I didn't care. And that's the problem. That's what's happened right now. And you know that all the Knicks fans, there were Knicks fans I saw on Twitter that said, hey, I was offered. And these are like legit people, not like, Billy Hoyle, these guys that I'm true hate. I know, guys like that are real people, like a legit people in the world, like not like a troll account. They said they were offered tickets to the game, and they said no. If I was offered tickets to the game, I would have said no. I circled this game on the calendar in the beginning of the season and said I will be at this game because it's going to be, I live in the city down the street from the Garden. It's going to be after my wedding. I'm not going to care about if I got COVID or not. I'm going to this game. This is going to be great. And I couldn't give a crap. You couldn't sell me a ticket. You couldn't give me a ticket. I would not have gone to that game. So that is why Knicks fans were comatose. The Knicks fans that were at this game were either fake fans or ones who couldn't sell their season tickets and they had to go out of obligation. And that is why the Knicks fan was so dead. So you can't be like, oh, the Nets fans took over the Garden. Look at us. We're so much here. We're here. We're here. But meanwhile, when the Knicks were up 28, the place was silent because the Knicks fans, we don't fucking care right now. And it's not because we're not passionate. It's not because we don't do it, because we're not stupid. And we know what has happened with this organization. We know this organization sat on their hands and did nothing to improve the team over the deadline, is keeping Thibs. They're running out the same lineups. We're done with this shit. I'm not going to shell out $150 to go see Taj Gibson, Alec Burks, and Evan Fournier get 1 million minutes. And while we're losing, like, do something different. And I'm not going to waste my time there. And that is the passion. And that is why I didn't care. When the Nets were coming back, I was hysterical laughing. Sure, at the end of the game, when Cam Thomas hit that three, I got a little pissed. But it wasn't the pissed of like it's a playoff game and they lost it. It was more of just like, oh, come on, man. You know, like one of those. Like, so that's my take, and that's what I'm saying. And that's not taking anything away from Nets fans. Nets fans are here. Nets fans are legitimate in this city now. It's not like how it was a couple of years ago. They're not irrelevant. You have a legitimate fan base that's growing. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that's the reason why last night at the Garden, it sounded like the Nets fans, quote unquote, took over the arena. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't give a shit. That's the reason why. You
laid out examples, and I don't agree with a lot of what you said, but I won't even argue that. They still did. You said this is why. It's context. There's a context element. Of course, there's context to everything. Alex, if I came on Bad Weather Fans and I gave a rant and I said the reason there were more Knicks fans at Barclays than the Nets was because they were tired from the Super Bowl and they were busy on Valentine's Day, people would think
it's not just that. It's from the deadline. It's really from the deadline and not giving a shit anymore.
That I get.
But it's the combination of all three. If this was a random game in 2-3 weeks, I bet you there'd be more Knicks fans there. But there was a action-packed week early in the week, plus not giving a shit about the deadline. You can't act like that doesn't matter. It's just because you want the Nets fans to be like, oh yeah, we were here, we did it. No, you guys did it. Good job, guys. Good job.
Thank you. And Did the Nick part of it factor? Yes, but I can't hear from somebody that says they have the best fan base. When people tell me there's nothing like going to a game at the Garden, the Nick fans the best, you can't then tell me Valentine's Day and the Super Bowl tired you out.
But that's not it. You're ignoring the third point. No, you're deliberately ignoring the third point.
I'm allowing. I tell you, if the third point is you're saying the Nick fan was done because of management, because of all this stuff, and they were just jaded. Be it. But
like you can't say that it's because the
Net fans took over that place. They did.
They took over. The Knicks fans didn't care. If you say the Nets fans took over, then the Knicks fans would have been bouncing off the walls in the first half, but they weren't. It was a freaking morgue in the first half when the Knicks were killing it.
But the Nets were down 30
because there was. Oh my God! All right,
the Nets were down 30. Of course, they weren't going to be yelling. They took over the place. I mean, they did. Now,
the Knicks were up. The Knicks were up 30, and they didn't give a shit. That's the point. That's the point because nobody cares. Because Knicks fans are done, and it's not because we don't care. It's because we're too smart to understand. We understand that the Knicks are fucking up right now, and the management is fucking up. The coach is fucking up, and we're done. And that's the reason.
Alex, there were Net fans louder than Knick fans at the end of the game. How we got there?
I understand that. I'm not saying they weren't.
That's technically taking over. Like, I don't care how we got there. We got there.
Okay.
We did. We got to this point where we're at Madison Square Garden because of all these factors. Net fans were louder than Knick fans. That's taking over. Now, yes, did management play a factor why the Knick fan didn't have the energy that they normally would? And if the Knicks were 40-10 and had the best record in the NBA, would it have been the same scenario? Of course not. And I understand the factors that got us here and why it was like that. But still, there were Net fans chanting and raving. I mean,
do Nets fans care more this year right now? Right now, do Nets fans care more about the team than the Knicks fans do?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. That's the point. It just happened. The deadline was just last week. This is not a month from now when the season's over. You're just trying to have a good time. You know, this was a really big week. Like, you can act like it doesn't matter because you didn't do anything for the Super Bowl or you didn't do anything for Valentine's Day. That doesn't mean you could have gotten a reservation on a Monday in New York City for Valentine's Day, because you couldn't, because it's a big night. People do things. People go out. People take their girl out. People take their man out. People do things on that night. And it's a big night. And Sunday for Super Bowl, Monday, the day after the Super Bowl, is the most called out day of the season. They're the Knicks. Yes, they're the Knicks, but it's also like
fans in the world.
I understand what you're saying.
They bring the energy.
I understand what you're saying.
Come on.
I understand what you're saying, but you're ignoring. You're deliberately ignoring context now. You're deliberately ignoring context.
I don't think that. I think that's not good context for the conversation.
Okay, well then we'll just disagree.
I think that context doesn't add to it. Like, shit happens. Like, you're the.
But I'm telling you what's going on with the Knicks fan. I'm telling you, as a fan, this is what I'm thinking, and this is what's going on. And this is as an adult, I'm not shelling out money to go see Taj Gibson 3 days after I just dropped hundreds of dollars on Valentine's Day, and went to a Super Bowl party on Sunday. And I'm not even back in the office yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, come on, man. Why am I going to do that to myself? And I don't even have to drive to the Garden. I could walk there, and I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't go for free.
But
because I don't support this organization right now because of what they've done, because of that they botched this so badly, because Thibs is still the coach. So why am I going to put out my money for that?
You don't have to, but it still led to the Net fan taking over the Garden. However you want to get there, we can disagree.
Yes, it did.
The Net fan did.
But it's not like it's not like to the point where you're trying to spin it. You and Keith McPherson and Evan are trying to like, look at us, we took over the Garden, or Durant trying to troll Knicks fans when he can't even get on the court.
I love that tweet. That was my favorite
because it's corny. It's corny.
No. Can I tell you
you're
why
not
I loved
playing?
it?
You're in the medical tent and you're tweeting out freaking things. Come on, man.
I'll tell you why I loved it. I loved it. Two-part why I loved it. I loved how annoyed it made the Knicks fan. I enjoyed that, and it did. Knicks fans reacted to it, and they went with their the typical playbook of all those things. But you have to remember,
but that's your playbook. So you don't have a playbook? That's your playbook. That's the corny playbook of Durant trolling on Twitter. You didn't even freaking play. You can't get on the court and you're trolling. You can't get on the court. You haven't played a full season as a Net yet, and you can't get on the court, and you're trolling the Knicks fans who you don't care about, who are not cool. But guess what? I guess they do matter, right? They do matter, Kevin, right?
It's so much fun putting them down because of how irritated they get about it. It's fun. And you have to remember, like, from my end as being a Net fan, never having a guy and having our guy go after, like, one of the best players.
Do you have the guy? But do you have him?
Yes.
Is he playing?
Signed for the next 4 years. Alex, you could go with that route because it's easy and it's fun. And it's the one you want to.
Got all these championships, right? You got all these championships. I thought you guys would have all these championships by now.
Well, Alex, at least they haven't won it yet, and I'm excited that they at least have a chance.
They're not winning this year, man. They're not.
I'm excited that the Nets have a chance, and we're not having a conversation about Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier for that. I mean, I'll just be honest.
Of course,
at least my team has a chance. At least we have a chance.
And I came on the show saying that you have a chance, but it's not the way it was before.
I love the fact that Durant said "fuck you" to you guys, and it got under your skin. I loved it. And Knicks fans can come back and they can go with, well, he's hurt. He couldn't handle the pressure. He said, fuck you, Knicks. And as a Nets fan, I absolutely adored it. And I understand why it would piss you off. And I understand why Knicks fans would come back with the rebuttals of, oh, Mr. Soft, he can't handle it in the Garden. Like, no offense.
I didn't say that.
You never said that, but no offense. Who would want to play there? There's no good vibes there. People are upset. Management sucks. The coaches sucks. The fan base is mad at them. Like, I don't think Kevin Durant's soft for not going to the Knicks. I think Kevin Durant's just not stupid.
Okay. Do you think that he would have thought about it last year when the Knicks were good? You saw how the Garden was last year when the Knicks were good. You saw how the vibes were in the city when the Knicks were good. Julius Randle was on the cover of Slam magazine. He's the king of the city. He's running everything. He was more popular than Kyrie. Durant. He was the man last year, right? When the things are going great, who wouldn't want to be around that? So you can look at it now like, oh, look at this. Who would want to be part of this shit? Like, who would be? I wouldn't. You wouldn't either. But guess what? When the Knicks are good, if you have the balls and you can stand up to the pressure like Derek Jeter or somebody like that, then guess what? You can do it. But not everybody. It's not built for everybody.
But this idea that Kevin Durant couldn't come to the Garden
I didn't say that.
Do it
I didn't
is
say
ridiculous.
That. I didn't say that.
But it is ridiculous. Like, Kevin Durant couldn't come into that shit show and turn it around.
Of course he could handle the pressure. If he could play, he would.
Play. He'll play. He plays he played last year in the playoffs and put on an epic performance. Is he more injury prone now than he's been in the past? And do I have concerns? Of course I do.
That's why I didn't want him. But that's why I didn't want him.
I know. I understand that. You guys are in a good position now, not signing him. It worked out really well.
It did last year. They did last year. They made some mistakes, and now they have to regroup. But guess what? You know, they still have a longer future, and they can be better down the road.
Last year was an anomaly. I mean, let's be real.
Well, it's easy to say that now, but you fire Thibs and win go on a winning streak, then you're going to have a different take in a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the point. It's so fickle, man. It's so fickle.
The Knicks right now have one player in RJ Barrett, maybe Mitch Robinson. The rest of the roster, Quickly could be. I like Quickly. I think he's a good player. We don't know what we have in Obi Toppin. The Knicks don't.
Quentin Grimes is good, man. Quentin Grimes is good.
But the point is, there's nothing else, and they don't even play. Like, you don't even play some of these younger guys. It's a mess.
Well, I mean, that's the point. It's a mess. It's a mess because Thibs is stubborn and Leon Rhodes did nothing. And that's why Knicks fans are pissed. And that's why Knicks fans didn't go to the Garden. And that's why we don't give a shit right now. And that's why Nets fans were able to come in on discounted tickets and take over the Garden, quote unquote. And congratulations. Put up a banner. Put up a banner. Durant had a tweet that said Barclay and then put it up. Put it up on the thing on your championship banners that you don't have. On your championship banners that you don't have. Do the banner meme. Don't do that. No, do that. Do that because you're going to have them soon, right? Your off-season championship banners, put them up.
Don't start with me. I love that your net anger is coming out because at least the true colors of how you feel about the team are here. You're not hiding it in front of me.
I'm never hiding it. I'm totally honest all the time.
Don't start with me about the banners thing because how many championships have you seen the Knicks win with your eyes?
None.
All right, so then I don't need to give a fuck about it. Like, it's about how many championships you won. Like, I hate when people are like, "Oh, Yankees have."
I'm just saying you can't. But your fan base trolls Knicks fans with these banner memes, so you can't act like that. I'm coming out of it from nothing. I wouldn't be talking about championship banners if you guys weren't. Every time somebody does something on the Knicks, and like if Obi Toppin wins a slam dunk, wait. If Obi Toppin wins a slam dunk contest on Saturday, don't tell me that there won't be Nets fans putting that on a banner. He won't putting it on a banner. Don't tell me that won't happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, but it's then you see the Knicks fans outside with the bing bong and all this, and then you say, well, of course you're gonna get trolled. Look at this shit.
And I said that. I thought bing bong was annoying. I said that.
All of it. It's just
stupid.
It's just so disgusting. It's so annoying, and it's just like the pretentious vibes of it. And that's why I just get back to it. And
we're the pretentious ones, right? Yeah, we're the pretentious ones now. When you guys are all cocky and like, throwing at your chest, Durant had a tweet. Oh, we tweeted something.
I love
Look at that.
But
from the medical tent.
I love how upset it made every single Knicks fan who had to come on there. And he knows it too. He got under all the Knicks fan skins. And as a Net fan,
it's pathetic, dude. It's pathetic. Honestly,
I loved it.
It's pathetic. If he went out there and dropped 50, if he went out there and dropped 50 is the reason why the Knicks lost, even if he dropped 20 and just had a normal Durant game, tweet all night.
Oh, he can, but
tweet all night.
He can tweet when he wants, if he plays or doesn't play, and it.
What does he accomplish with the Nets? What does he accomplish with the Nets that earns him that right?
The
second round. Oh, okay.
Oh, see, you're minimizing that the Nets.
What has he done? What has he done? What has he done here? He's done nothing here, dude.
It's just this book's not written yet, Alex. Like, don't say what has he done.
But don't act like he's done so much here.
He has changed the image of the franchise, and he's changed that forever. I'm sorry, Kevin Durant has come to the Nets and changed it, and then he signed an extension with.
Put up the image banner.
And this is where I want to be for the next 4 years. And then, so you can say, what has he done yet? You're right. Yes, of course. He hasn't won a championship. And I would say for my end, what do I want to win? I want a championship. Exactly. Anything less than a title is not what he signed up for.
If Durant doesn't win a title, was it worth it? If Durant doesn't win a title, was it worth it?
Of course it was worth it. Because what would have been the better alternative? Watching
try to build a championship?
That was the route to take a championship.
The Sixers might win a championship with Tobias Harris. What are you talking about?
But if the Nets were to sign Tobias Harris and he would be the piece.
I don't know. Maybe they could have flipped him. Maybe they could have signed Jimmy Butler. Maybe they could have signed Jimmy Butler. Maybe they could have done something else like that and built a team that way. I'm
going to disagree with you.
Jared Allen's an all-star. What about Karis LeVert? You guys miss him too, right?
I'm going to disagree with you if you think not signing Kevin Durant would have been a better idea for the Nets.
I'm just saying.
I disagree with that fact. If you want to tell me about Karis LeVert and all the other trades that they made and where we got to and all that, that's management discussions and things how we got here. But do not say to any Net fan listening that signing Kevin Durant was a bad idea because bad weather
was a bad idea. I said if they don't win a title, don't twist my words. Bad weather fans is
interesting to Net fans because Kevin Durant.
Now you're twisting my words. I never said that. I said if Durant doesn't win a title, was it worth it? I said if Durant doesn't win a title, was it worth it? That's what I asked. I didn't say they shouldn't have signed him. I said if Durant didn't win a title, was it worth it? Was all this worth it?
They would never have won a championship without him.
Okay.
So you don't know that. Yeah. I do know that. They would never have won a championship. The D'Angelo Russell and the Tobias Harris show with Kenny Atkins in development was not going to win a title. It wasn't.
You don't know if you would have kept D'Angelo.
Like
you don't know what have happened. You don't know what would have happened.
I'll take my chances.
I'm just saying you don't know. I'm just saying you don't know. You can't be so definitive of something when you don't know what would have happened.
It's worth it because of how he changed the view of the franchise.
Okay.
Because Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant, and he changed
exactly.
The view of the franchise.
That's what goes back to me 3 years ago when I'm saying the Nets fans were more concerned about winning fans than they were about winning championships.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's true. It's the whole organization. They're worried more about putting the Knicks down than they are about winning championships.
The Nets are. I'm more worried about winning a championship, but I love putting the Knicks down. I can have both. I can enjoy seeing the Knicks suffer.
You can.
Like, do Yankee fans care more about winning a title or seeing the Red Sox lose? It's both. I would say it's both. Like
I think the Yankees fans care more about winning titles,
but they don't want to see the Red Sox do it. They would like to see them lose. Like if they said if the Red Sox are in the World Series and they're playing against the Marlins, I think they'll be rooting for the Marlins, which are an upstart team. I could see that.
Okay. Whatever.
God, I hate the Knicks. I hate everything about them. I hate them. They're so annoying.
You just don't like when I give my opinion on the Knicks, on the Nets, and I think I strike a chord with you a little bit where it gets you a little angry because I feel like deep down you agree with me just a little bit.
About which part?
Just everything that I'm not going to go repeat everything that I just.
Well, I'd like to hear it again. I thought it was a really good rant. Let's hear it again. Let's hear your passion again. It strikes a chord with me because. I know Kevin Durant signing with the Nets was the best thing for this organization. And to say otherwise, I think is insane. I think now if they
I didn't say it wasn't. No, I said it. Would it be worth it if they didn't win a title? Would it be all this be worth it? The Kyrie shit, the Harden shit, everything that encompasses the Kevin Durant era with the Nets. Would it have been worth it if they don't get out of the second round? Or maybe they get to a conference final and lose.
I think because it's just a weird question to ask because I personally think if they didn't go this route, they'd be spinning their wheels in nowhere land. They'd be in nowhere land. You have to.
That's just where we fundamentally disagree. That's just where we're always going to disagree on that.
They're still seriously in the mix to win a championship.
Of course, I didn't say they weren't, but they're not what they were. They're not what they were.
Yes, but let's look at the Nets last year when they got to the playoffs. Right, what was the biggest issue with the Nets in the second round versus the Bucks?
Injuries.
Okay, so was Kevin Durant there?
Yeah.
Was Kyrie Irving?
No.
Was James Harden?
No.
Kinda.
He wasn't there. Yeah, he was
kind of there.
Yeah, he wasn't himself.
What if this Nets team had Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and all these other guys with that same unit?
So you think Ben Simmons is good in the playoffs?
I think he hasn't proven himself to be good, but I'm just saying.
You're trading one quitter for another, and you're going to act like Ben Simmons is this amazing clutch player that's going to turn the franchise around and win you a title. It's not happening, dude. He can't hit a free throw. He can't hit a 10-foot jump shot. He fumbles. He folds under pressure. The second his coach criticized him, he wanted to get traded and sat out and gave up millions of dollars because his coach criticized him publicly.
I said that
happened. That just happened.
Of course,
so don't act like it didn't.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. What I'm saying is last year they had nobody in the playoffs and they beat the Bucks. They almost beat the Bucks. Like almost beat the Bucks with nobody.
What did they lose in? How did they lose?
They lost in Game 7. Kevin Durant. The Bucks scored more points in overtime, and the Bucks won that series. And they moved on, and they were the better team, and they got the championship. So kudos to the Milwaukee Bucks. You're telling me if the Nets, who added these pieces, could go up against Milwaukee and not have a chance? Because yes, Ben Simmons has a terrible track record in the playoffs. But you know what? It's a clean slate here. He's in Brooklyn. What am I supposed to not believe and not give myself a chance because Kevin Durant's out there with him and you've got now a cast of role players that can go around him? I give them a chance. I do. And maybe things change. And let's put it this way. Kyrie Irving, even if he doesn't, if things don't change, he's still playing in the road games. He's going to play. He's not going to be there the full time. Like we keep going with this. Well, if Kyrie's not there, he's still going to be there for half the games. And yes, that's bizarre, but that's still going to be the scenario. And here's the other thing. I've been thinking about this too. Like if Adam Silver made the point today about trying to change things, like the Nets should just go, Adam Silver doesn't give a fuck. Let's pay a fine and let this guy play. If that's the way the commissioner of the league thinks, what do we really even care what the NBA thinks of us?
That's true. That's true, but are the Nets even going to be a top 6 team?
I don't know. They're going to be in the mix there. They're going to be hovering. They're going to be hovering between 5 and 8.
And that's on where just what I'm saying. And then you're talking about them winning a title, and they might not even get out of the play-in tournament. So this is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like I believe they can. Alex, Durant. I'm just saying, like
they're about to get healthy and go on a run.
Okay,
they're about to. They're about to.
Okay. I mean, you should be confident. I mean, it's your team. You should
Durant's
feel
impact
confident.
is undeniable. When he's out of this, they're a different team when you add him.
Not out
You're
there.
adding a top 2, but when he comes back, he's going to be back after the All-Star break. You can't deny that. They're going to start winning more games with Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons. They just are. Mm-hmm. They're just going to win more games. It's just going to happen. When you add those players, they're not going to lose 11 straight anymore.
Listen, I don't want it to be construed as that I think the Nets suck. I don't want it to be construed as that.
Yeah, you do. That's it. That was the point. You thought they sucked.
No, listen, I said it to you last week or the week before with the Harden Simmons stuff. Whenever they get Simmons, that's a big win for them because they got an all-star. They got rid of Harden. It's definitely a notch down from Harden if Harden's right, but they got an all-star. And I always say to you about fit as well. Fit doesn't mean shit if the players want to play together. You know what I mean?
He didn't want to be there.
And guess what? Simmons is at least going to be on his best behavior for half the season. You know what I mean? Because he's got his career on the line pretty much right now. And he's going to play. And Kyrie is the X factor. You don't know what's going to happen with the mandates, but just have that cloud hovering over you. Durant, he's got to stay healthy, man. And because if you go into this play-in tournament, and let's say you got the home games in the play-in tournament, and Kyrie can't play, and then you got Ben Simmons and Durant is half himself. You know, you're not winning these games.
There's scenarios there, but I could flip it and do the other scenario. What if the Nets go on a run, make a move? They're the 6th
It's definitely very likely that they will. It's definitely likely they will. I'm just giving you the other side. That's all,
right. And let's say, okay, the Nets get paired up with the Cavs in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is going to be favored?
Oh, the Nets, if they're healthy. Yes, the Nets, if they're healthy.
Right.
Yes,
I'm just saying, like the seeding, as much, trust me, I don't want to be in the playing game. I'd be delusional if I said that. You know how fucking crazy I would be? I'd be out of my mind, be like, oh, here comes, LaMelo Ball. This is going to be a disaster. I'd be fucking nervous. Here come the Knicks who snuck their way in after firing Thibs and won 7 straight. And Alex, go back to episode 104 of Bad Weather Fans when he was talking about the change that made. And he's like, Mike,
I'm telling you, man,
I understand.
It could change the whole season, and the Knicks can change if they fire the coach. You know, a coach can spark a season. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Don't tell me I'm delusional. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it can happen. There's a lot of talent on this Knicks team. This Knicks team was just the 4 seed last year, and everybody can belittle at that and say it was a flash in the pan kind of bullshit. But there's a lot of the same players that were here last year, and literally it takes a spark. It takes playing the right guys in the right moments. It takes not starting a shooting guard at point guard. It takes not playing players together. It takes it's just not being stubborn and just making the right decisions that are just like adjustments in game, things like that. And there are a lot of teams in the East right now, Mike. There's the 76ers. They're going to have Harden. I know it's hard to understand, but they're going to have James Harden on his best behavior. The Harden you guys had last year before he got hurt in the playoffs, they're going to have that for half the year because his career is on the line too. His reputation is on the line too. Him and Embiid
for this
are going to be scary, dude.
Well,
Embiid's the MVP right now, and they just got James Harden.
Yeah, and I'm on a negative mood for James Harden because
of course, and you have every right to be.
His track record is I quit everywhere I go. At some point, I quit and I give up. And he let's be real, you say.
He's gotten Chris Paul out of town, Melo out of town, Dwight Howard out of town. It's all the same shit. Yeah, no,
and of course, I was talking about the Nets a lot. And I was excited and there were those gold moments, and you see that. But now you're kind of on the outside, and you look at these moments. There's always something that pops up. Doesn't mean he can't turn it for Philly. I don't think it's sustainable for him to have good behavior for 4 years. I think that's insane. Now, can he pull it together? And he took off the fat suit and he looks skinny again. He's already teaching Embiid how to travel. Yeah, of course they can make a run. That's definitely possible. It's a doable thing. Yeah. But I want to see them fail so hard. Because and
you're also forgetting about the Heat and the Bulls, man.
Oh,
the Bucks and the champs.
Yeah, the East is loaded. The East is loaded. The East is absolutely loaded.
Don't be so sure that you want to be on the road for these games.
I never. No. I would rather have home court advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's obvious
because the Nets fans were good, man. The Nets fans were good in the playoffs last year. I don't shit on Nets fans like that anymore, man. That's a very 3-year-old joke. You're just like, oh, they don't matter anymore. They're irrelevant. They're relevant. They're relevant. They're relevant because you're saying they're relevant so much. That means they're relevant because you keep telling them that they're irrelevant. So Nets fans do matter. You know what I'm saying? They are here. They are better now than they've ever been, and that's something that I will say. So you do want to be home for that. And that's my compliment to you.
If I'm not taking it. Also, if you're like a net from a net perspective, I'm not even talking about the home court, obviously home court crowd. Let's say, you go home and you split 1-1 and then you're going on the road. how nice is it knowing that Kyrie's showing up for these games? Like, that's a nice luxury to think.
Sure.
As opposed to if you're on the road and let's say you split 1-1 and you're like, oh, we're at home and we don't have Kyrie. I like the idea of you go on the road and you get your second best player back. Like, to me, that exciting. I mean, it sucks that I'm even having this kind of fucking conversation. But if we're going to really break down the scenario with Kyrie Irving coming back, that, that's how I feel about it.
And we're both on this point where, like, not to go down this road. We're both pro-vaccine. Both you and I both got it. I think people should get it, but we respect everybody's choices, et cetera, et cetera. And we're at the point in this, like, let the guy play. Let Kyrie play already. This is just ridiculous. You know what I mean? I understand they just laid off thousands of city workers, and that's what Mayor Adams is kind of tinkering with right now. How are you going to lay off thousands of city workers and then let a millionaire play who's still getting paid millions of dollars, even if he doesn't play home games? So it's
I know the politics of it.
It's a politic thing. It's
going
to take time.
Adams,
it's going to take
if you're
time.
Mayor Adams too, can you be like, that wasn't under my administration. I wholeheartedly disagree with if he does.
Yeah,
I disagree with this. De Blasio fucked this up. I understand how mad you must be because this happened based on him. You got vaccinated when you didn't want to. Okay, I get that. But you're the new mayor. You're coming in town. Like, you're not De Blasio changing it. You're new. Right. I don't think you'll get as much shit because it wasn't your original rule that came down to begin with. You're coming in to clean up what you thought was an error, if you do believe that.
Right. And I agree. And that's just something, but you know what? Even if he believes that, which it sounded like in his recent press conference, he had to like talk out of both sides of his mouth like a politician, but he wouldn't say something as definitively as a politician would, saying whatever he said about, I don't remember exactly his quote. I forgot. But it was something to the effect of that. Yeah, I want him to play, and I think he should play. But you know what? The scariest thing is the city getting shut down again. Kyrie Irving playing basketball unvaccinated is not going to make the city shut down again. You know what I mean? That's just a very crazy thing. But he's trying to be smart about it because he doesn't want to just open the floodgates and then the city shut down. And then it's like, see, it's all your fault. You know what I mean? He's thinking about the election, the next election. He's thinking about credibility, you know what I mean? And even if he wants to do something today in politics, it takes months. You know what I mean? This stuff has to be like, there's processes to this stuff, The
part that's so bizarre about the whole thing is the one part where the road player can come in, not vaccinated and play. So to me, then it's stupid. It doesn't make sense if it's from a health and safety standpoint. There should be consistency. And then the other
it's like
part
the United Nations, the General Council, like we talked about that a while ago, where they're allowed to, I'm pointing to it because it's over there, but we're like, it's like down the street that way, but like over there. But if you're watching this on YouTube, but they're allowed to have people from other countries come in here unvaccinated. This is at the height of the pandemic, unvaccinated, as long as they're wearing their masks. And sometimes I'm sure they weren't, and that's okay. But little Billy and Susie have to stay home from school and do online school, and the parents can't go to work because they have to be. You know what I mean? It's just it was all warped.
The whole thing. Well, how about the Nets?
Yeah.
How about Kyrie?
None of this makes sense anymore.
Kyrie can practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's because they found the loophole in the private workplace.
So now he can go right.
Yeah.
But ultimately, okay. So
it's a loophole reason why he can practice.
Right, but we're getting into the semantics of it,
of course,
as opposed
which
to
doesn't make it's stupid. It's
if you're going to if you're just going to go based on the health of it, Kyrie's going in a building. Kyrie's going in
with
another
the players,
building.
with the same players. That would be
the same difference.
And those players are playing the other players who are going to be infected with Kyrie's, quote unquote virus if he has it, and then it'll be passed around regardless. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Back to this Harden thing because it's on my mind. It's funny hearing your perspective of him, how great you think he is, because from my end, just seeing how bad he played, it's like we have such different views because Harden was so bad. And like even in the playoffs in Game 7, he was 1 for 10 from he was terrible.
Well, he was hurt.
I know he was hurt, but he still missed. He missed every shot he took.
I think you can crush him so he was like Jason Kidd with the Knicks in the playoffs. But you can crush Harden for this year. I don't think he was playing on one leg. You should commend him for trying to play.
Yeah, not anymore. I'm over that.
I'm honestly, but the reason why I'm sort of with Harden here is that I don't blame him for wanting out of this. Kyrie barely plays. Durant is hurt all the time. He's dealing with all this crap.
I get that, Alex.
And he came here, he's 32, 33 years old. He came here for the easy road for the title, and he wants that on his legacy. And people can spin it into this whole smear campaign on him. Like, he wanted to party here, he wanted to party there. So does every NBA player. Every NBA player is partying all the freaking time. And I know maybe not to his extent, but you know what? He came here because he came to Brooklyn because he wanted to win a title, and he saw it wasn't going to happen, so he got out of there as fast as possible.
Yeah, but he gets out of
part of me doesn't blame him for that.
But he gets out of everywhere as fast as he can because he can't handle.
Well, he was with Houston for a while. He just got other players out of there. Is really what it was. It was the other way, but it's the same thing.
The same shtick. Anytime that it's like there's always tough times, but can tough people handle these times? And he takes the easy road out every time. And to me, that's pathetic. Okay, I get every NBA player's party, but after a game versus the Spurs, he decides he doesn't want to be with the team for the next 2 days. So he goes to Vegas to party and says, see you later, and then comes back. Like, at some point, there has to be accountability to be a good teammate. And he checked out. And
he's looking at Kyrie. He's probably what the hell is this guy doing? Right, he's not doing this for me. So why am I doing this for them? Yeah,
he was jealous that Kyrie Irving got the treatment that he did not get. Agree. And he said, fuck this. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm just saying, from like a leader standpoint, being a strong-willed person, I think that's kind of the easy way out. And he said, I'm not going to take this challenge. I'm not going to wait for Kevin Durant to come back because things will get smoother. Instead, it's like, let me just get out of here and let me go to where I wanted to go originally, which was Philly.
Yeah. You know what? I think we talked too much Nets. Are the Knicks firing Thibs?
Yes or no? They're going to take care of it tomorrow or when this comes out.
Friday news dump? Is that what you were texting me that?
I would say I don't think he's fired.
Really? You think he lasts?
I think he's going to stay the whole year. Yeah, I think too much respect there. And I think he stays. Yeah, I was thinking about that more and more. I think he stays.
You know what? I thought there was a chance he'd stay, and it was kind of a dream that he'd get fired until that Ian Begley report came out that Thibs was leaking out. Not that he was leaking out, but he's like, sources say Thibs was mad that there was no trades at the deadline to upgrade the roster. And once I heard that to me, that's Thibs leaking it to them, saying, get my side of the story out there and try to make his name look better so we can get another job down the road. And it's over, So, and there was some smoke today also, besides that, where it just led me to believe that it's going to happen, man. And it's just a matter of when. I hope it happens really, really soon. I just don't understand how it's taking so long. It's just after that game, national TV, Dolan sitting front row, Spike Lee decided to show up for a game. You got all these things going on, Stephen A. Smith screaming and yelling after the game. And this time he just was on the money. It's just, it's over, man. And how is it not done yet? Maybe they're trying to see if Johnny Bryant's the right guy for the interim job. Maybe they're trying to see what he wants to do. Maybe they're trying to find different ways, or they're trying to do the news dump like you said, on a Friday afternoon. Then you have the All-Star weekend and nobody cares Monday morning. That's definitely possible, but I can't see how the Knicks can go into the second half of the season. I know second half, like it's a third of the season left, can go into the last part of the season with Thibs as the coach in this toxic environment. Give me something. If you fire Thibs, you hire Johnny Bryant, the lineup starts to change. I'll be at games again. I'll want to go to games again. I'll start rooting again hard again. I'll start caring again. You know what I mean? That's all that you should want is hope right now as a Knicks fan. And I don't know how the Knicks can be so blind to see that right now and keep Thibs.
Action creates hope, and right now the Knicks are giving no action to create that hope. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have any like theory or reason. It's just an instinct that the Knicks wouldn't make that kind of blatant of a move mid-year because of how bad it would look, and instead they'll just ride this out, even though.
They are the type.
That was one of the it just seems like they wouldn't be the type to do that. Just like
like with Phil Jackson, they held on to Phil Jackson way too long because Dolan was like, "You don't want me involved. I'm not involved, man. This is what you got. Like, you don't want me involved."
To be fair to like Leon Rose and all the Knicks fans were praising the moves that he made in the offseason. They were like Kemba Walker, Evan.
Well, I didn't praise the draft. The draft I did not like punting on the draft pick. That was weird.
It was just like
a weird thing.
We added this back. We made it to the Hawks without a real NBA backcourt, and then it turned. In retrospect, it turned out it was like Kemba's is. I was texting with a good Celtics fan, and he said, because he watched Kemba and Fournier, and he's like, I cannot believe that the Knicks thought these two guys would work in Tom Thibodeau's offense. That they were like, these two guys would come here, and it showed because Thibodeau didn't play Kemba. He never plays Fournier when it matters. So like it brings me to this concept of the disconnect between the coach.
So then he's got to go. He's got to go.
What is. So maybe I'm convincing myself here, but like, how can you have two heads here. And you know, we make fun of Kevin Durant because he runs the team, but at least the communication is there.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening here?
We know who runs the team, right? Yeah,
right. We know. You know, honestly, like if I was the Knicks, I'd want Kevin Durant to run my team. He would do a better job than what this is.
That's
like what
for sure.
Kemba, like Kemba and Fournier, they don't mix in this offense. And it's just like the Knicks would have been better off just signing just some sort of middle of the road point guard that can just distribute the basketball.
Yeah. Like
the
Lonzo
guy,
Ball. Lonzo Ball.
Well, he would have been great. Who's the point guard on the Suns that was on the Knicks last year? He's having a good year.
Oh yeah, come on. That was that. See, that's what with Alfred last year, and then Kemba, you know, starts, they're 5-1. They struggle a little bit, but they're still right there. And then he benches him for no reason. And then, you know, too soon he benched him, and then he has to play him because of all the COVID casualties, and he's dropping 40 and 50. Kemba's like making Thibs look like an idiot. And now Kemba is clear that he's done, and he refuses to bench him. It's just like, what are you doing? You're being stubborn. You're doing this in spite of ownership and everybody. If I can see that, if you can see that as a Nets fan, it's time to go, man. And you know, today also, Ian Begley, again, he was on a roll today. He said, on one note on Knicks and Tom Thibodeau, in some of the conversations with New York Knicks owner James Dolan, William Wesley has cited Tom Thibodeau in part as a significant factor behind the Knicks' struggles. So the Knicks management is saying it's Thibs' fault. Thibs is saying it's not my fault. I wanted him to make moves. It's over. You gotta fire the guy. Forget about, you can't. And this idea that just because the Knicks have had a carousel of coaches over the years that you can't fire him, it's ridiculous. Just because David Fizdale sucked, just because Kurt Rambis sucked, just because Jeff Hornacek sucked, just because Derek Fisher sucked, doesn't mean you shouldn't fire Thibodeau right now. It's over. And the sooner they realize it, the better it'll be for this team going forward. The more excited fans will be about this team going forward. It's just do something. You can't do nothing at the deadline and then keep this coach who's a dead man walking. What are we accomplishing? Like, what is the point? We're wasting games of development for these guys. And that's the other thing. RJ Barrett wasn't even playing in this game on Wednesday with the Nets. And another reason, I forgot about that reason to say before, maybe we can put that back in that argument earlier. Another reason why Knicks fans didn't care. So anyway,
I'll take that. I can accept that one. I'm not going to accept the other one.
I forgot to say that too. I wasn't reading my notes. But yeah, no, it's just you got me all emotional. See, I think that was one of our worst arguments, by the way. We were legit mad for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I
love you though. It's okay.
I don't care. I just yeah, I'm a little peeved too because I thought you had some good points and that's annoying me.
Yeah, it's all right, man. Listen, we were allowed to disagree. It's sports, and we're it's all good.
I had a busy, and then like you don't know what I did on my Valentine's Day. You don't know how busy my Valentine's Day was. Maybe it was fun.
Well, the way you were belittling it made me feel like you douldn't. You thought it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? You got a kid. I mean, I understand. You know.
No. I'm not belittling Valentine's Day. I think it's awesome. I think it's fun. I think it's great. I just don't think that's an excuse for Knicks fans not having energy.
Well, it's part of the excuse. It's not the excuse.
What are you doing on Valentine's? I mean,
it's like, are you RJ Barrett? It's the team. It's RJ Barrett. The fans don't care anymore. You had Valentine's Day the day after the Super Bowl and a weekend before that. I'm not going to shell out hundreds of dollars to go see the Knicks when they don't when they don't care and they're not investing in their future. I'm not investing in them. I don't give a shit. Emotionally, I'm not investing in them, and financially, I'm not investing in them. You know what I did? I went on DraftKings and I made bets and I won some money. You know what I won on? I won on the Nets plus 17.5 at halftime.
Good bet. So that's a good bet. I mean the Brooklyn chance though at the Garden was fun to hear. Like I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. You should.
It was fun. It was cool. It's cool to hear. In the Mecca, I love winning in the Garden.
But you said it doesn't matter. I mean, like that's the whole thing. That's just funny.
What do you mean?
A lot of people lie.
It does matter. I always say it matters. I love winning in the Garden. I went on.
I'm teasing you.
And I was like, I said, like, I truly enjoy winning there. It's like I hate the games at home, but I love winning on the road. It's fun because it's the history of it. It's the people talking about it, like the hype machine of it. So it's fun to go in there, and that's why. I like Kevin Durant
not many buildings
doing stuff like that, where he goes in and he trolls them. And I know that he's our guy. I get a kick out of that. And I can see from your end how it would annoy you.
You know what it is?
I get that.
You know what it is? Josh Giddey came into the Garden, had a triple double, one of the top picks, a rookie,
top 10 pick.
Comes into the Garden, has a triple double, and he's like, I love playing. He tweeted out, I love playing at the Garden. You know what I said to Knicks fans? You can't get mad at this. He's got every right to talk shit. He won. He went in there and beat us. Kevin Durant making a comment from the freaking bench when you didn't get out of your street clothes because you're injured. That's corny. That's pathetic to me. I'm sorry. That's just like, you're a child. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like weird, dude. Like, that's just a weird energy. And I just don't understand.
His energy. Like, you've trolled tweeted people before.
Of course.
You do the same kind of stuff. So in a weird
way, obviously I'm not playing an NBA game, but let's try to be fair about these things. Unless somebody's an asshole to me, I would troll them. If somebody like deliberately tries to troll me, I'll troll them back because they're trying to troll me.
Let's pretend you were in the NBA and you did that. Like, I would laugh at you doing that. And I'd be like, there's Alex again. Good troll tweet from him, making fun of the Garden Faithful.
Unless I was on the Knicks. Unless I was on the Knicks doing it to you, then you'd be like, oh, fuck Alex.
Yeah, that would be annoying. No, I get that. And I'll at least be consistent. Like, I know.
So let's say the Knicks won. Let's say the Knicks won this game, right?
But they didn't.
And let's say they did. Let's say it was the opposite way.
All imagination.
And they came back. It's all imagination. Let's say they came back from 28 down and won. And Quentin Grimes hit the big three that like Cam Thomas hit at the Garden, and they were going crazy. Or let's say it's at the Barclays, and Knicks fans are going crazy, going nuts. And RJ Barrett didn't play, and then at the end of the game, RJ Barrett tweeted out like, "There you go, Madison Square Garden South." Like, how would you feel about that?
I would feel
East.
I'd be pissed. But I wouldn't be like. But at least I could admit it and be like, yeah, that annoyed me. It got under my skin.
It annoyed me. I thought it was pathetic.
Yeah. I would say it would get under. See, I don't think it's pathetic. I think that's minimizing it. I would say it annoyed me because there were so many Knicks fans in there making loud noises, and it reminded me of just the presence that they can bring when they go places, and it pissed me off.
All right.
So but that scenario didn't happen. Here's this: like, the Knicks have not won against the Nets since like episode 32 of Bad Weather Fans or something. Like, they haven't won since the bubble year.
No, I know. The Nets just always get all the calls in these games, and not this game.
They got
not this game. Not this game. No, the Nets got screwed a few times. That Blake Griffin clear path thing, and then why did they give him that crazy shot he hit? Like, that was and then the other continuation.
Well, the part of that really annoyed me was Scott Foster goes to the screen, and like, if everybody's like, who here is a fan of The Office? And one of my favorite, and this was actually a Super Bowl commercial where they're watching the screen, and there's the screensaver that's bouncing and trying to hit the corner, and they're all like cheering in the background when it hits it. He's watching the monitor, and it's got that thing trying to hit the corner, and I'm watching this going, what is he looking at?
He's not even. He's on. Yeah,
not even watching the. So he's getting the instructions, but it's like, at least look at the play.
Where are they in Jersey? Are they in Hackensack or
Secaucus?
Oh,
as Richard Jefferson says, nothing's better than Secaucus. And then How I Met Your Mother, the Secaucus joke.
Secaucus. Yeah, they're in. So they're in Secaucus. A lot
of good Uber Eats places
the thing. There. Yeah, they're doing that. They're doing their thing. So he probably doesn't even have a say, which is even worse, because if you can see it on the side, like, that's a clear path. Like, we've been watching the NBA our whole lives. That's a clear path.
I don't know. You know what I mean? For that anymore. Every time I'm like, clear path, it isn't. It's not. It is.
I don't know what a clear path is. I don't know what a flagrant is anymore. I don't know what anything is anymore. You have to tell me
the clear path replays. Ugh.
Clear path is a weird it's a weird call anyway. It's a weird thing. Do you like that rule in general? I mean, I guess people would just hack you and like grab you, like, and tackle you from behind or something. But I
guess because they're trying to prevent people from, like, it's clearly going to be a dunk. So they're like, hey, let's give them points awarded because of it. I don't know. I'm not that passionate about the topic, to be honest.
Yeah. You don't want to do 10 minutes on the clear path.
Wasn't on my rundown. Is that your poll question this week? Do you like the clear path foul?
Yeah, that's the poll question.
That's my way of hinting. Let's go to the
poll question. No, the poll question was kind of funny, actually. We thought we were going to record after the Knicks Nets game yesterday, but things came up, so we couldn't do it.
Well, and we also decided we made more sense to do it after the Wizards, because now we're at the official halfway point for it.
Yeah, and we also were able to calm down, because if we had this argument yesterday, it would have been even more heated than we had today.
No, I don't even know what the poll question. Oh, not the poll. You're saying in general.
I'm saying our argument about the fans at the game and stuff.
Oh my God, yes, that would have been.
We would have the last episode.
I mean, that's at the root of this episode is like, I mean, that's where this all stems from.
Yeah. No, and listen, and we might argue, but we're cool. Don't worry about it.
Again, no. By the way, can we just talk real fast about Dolan on the fan?
Yeah,
because he did give a plug, and then
Dolan J. Trump. Yes, James Dolan.
Not the real James Dolan. Let me be careful. I always fuck that up.
Yeah, because it's like his first name.
He gave his like true sports opinion, and Evan was like, "That is stupid," and like shot him down.
Yeah, I didn't like that, to be honest. I love Evan, but I didn't like that. We finally getting real Knicks talk on the fan, and then the second he makes a point that's different,
I felt uncomfortable.
He didn't want to do it. He was just like, I can't do this. And it says, and Carton's just like, yeah, I mean, we all knew this already, and Carton's right, but like, it was nice to hear somebody actually make a Nick point that you hear on a podcast on the fan.
And then it was just funny. Of course, it's him.
Of course, it's him. No, of course.
That's
Listen to it if you guys want to hear it on the Odyssey app. It was around 4:40 p.m. on February 17th. So, or on the podcast app. So if you can find it. Anyway,
I called into the fan the night before because I was so irritated.
Yes,
but you pissed me off this morning because now it's like I feel like I'm getting the yips with you because you're like, Sal really took it to you.
So you called up Sal Licata because he was mad because he was giving you the greatest hits bullshit. Yeah, he was like that. He was giving you some bullshit about the nobody cares. Which if you keep saying nobody cares, in my opinion, if you keep saying nobody cares, then you freaking care. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
that's why my point to him was, you opened with the Nets. He goes, I didn't open with the Nets. I was like, well, it was in your opening monologue.
Right.
That's opening.
And he admits he hasn't watched the Knicks since the 90s. So how are you talking about the Knicks if you haven't watched them in the 90s? Why are they relevant? But the Nets aren't relevant when you're talking.
Sure. It's just the same.
It's hypocritical nature. And, but I forgot what he said, but I should read the text I said to you last night, but we texted a lot today. I'm not gonna be able to find it right now. But no, there were a couple things he said that were kind of right, but he didn't let you talk. Really, that wasn't really fair.
Well, first of all, I got here's a behind the scenes story with that. I was so loud on that call. My wife came down. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So in the middle of him,
Sal Licata.
In the middle of it, I was like telling my wife because he was worried I was going to wake my son up. So in the middle of it, I don't even know what he said because I was trying to not get in fucking trouble with my wife.
Right.
That was that happened too.
At that moment, your wife is more important than Sal Licata. Yes, for sure.
But I want to give Sal credit here because I think his job as a host is to get emotion and reaction out of people, and he got that. Now I don't know if he's intending to do it, or it's just like, or it's happening by accident that he's getting Net fans riled up. Like the funniest thing to me was the third caller goes, you're calling Kevin Durant soft for not going to the Garden. I made a point about that to you and you just blocked me. Why did you do that? That was the funniest thing. Like I was funny.
Oh man. Yeah. I wasn't, you told me that I was reading the text. I said, he kind of won the argument, hate to say, but he didn't let you speak clearly or fairly. And so you didn't really have a chance.
He didn't like my sandbox thing.
The sandbox thing. Yeah. That's
my whole shtick is the sandbox.
That's your sandbox thing. I don't really like that either.
Well, how about when he goes, "Oh, you took me literally." Well, that's what you said.
And then he tweeted, and then I sent you the tweet of Sal Licata said, you couldn't handle the pressure of New York, so you chose a soft landing in a borough. And then he goes to talk about Durant, whatever. And it's like Manhattan's a borough, so just so you know.
Technically, yes. I hate when he said the Barclays is one of the worst home courts. So then you are watching the Nets. How do you know? Yeah, and if you haven't watched the Knicks in 20 years, how do you know what's going on with them right now? If you're saying you're still bringing up Starks and Greg Anthony's fight when he came off the bench in a Versace shirt, then it's just like I want another chance. You don't know what's going on. Yeah, I want another chance. I want another chance versus Sal. Get him on the show. I'm saying. Let's talk. I'm not doing that. Oh, and last thing I was just reading when I texted you late last night was I was betting on I've been betting on late in NBA games when the spreads get out of control, when there's a blowout, let's say it's like a 28-point spread, I'll just bet on the 28 plus 28 like $10 here and there. You know what I mean? It's been working because at the end of games, teams just put in baskets and it's silly. But so the Nuggets were losing to the Warriors by like 9, and I bet on the points, and it was like 8.5, and it was getting close, and I was like, let me bet on the money line, and then it was about like 7 or 8 points. The Warriors were up with like 4 minutes left. I'm like, this is Curry and Clay. I'm like, let me cash out, because they have the cash out feature on DraftKings where you can you cash out, but you might lose the whole amount. So I bet 20 on the money line. So I cashed out at 12, and I was like, all right, I just lost $8, whatever. They're not going to win. Steph Curry hits a shot with like 4 seconds left. I'm like, all right, cool. And then of course the Nuggets win it at the buzzer, and I would have won $200, and I instead of down 8. And that's gambling, man. And that's gambling. But anyway, be careful gambling, but it is fun doing that as long as you don't go crazy. It's just fun, keep staying in tune with the games. Anyway, so poll question, Mike. Last night after the Knicks game, or before the Knicks game during the day, and then before the Knicks-Nets game, I wrote, Knicks fans, should they fire Thibs? Read every answer carefully and comment why. Yes, right now. No, the coach of the year gets another shot. Yes, after the season. And no, this is not his fault.
What do you think won?
Say them again for me.
So this is before the game yesterday, before the Knicks and Nets game on Wednesday. I said, should the Knicks fire Thibs? And I said, yes, right now. No, coach of the year, so he gets another shot. Yes, but after the season. No, this is not his fault.
Yes, but after the season.
Yes, but after the season, won by a hair, 32.5%. No, coach of the year gets another shot, 32.3%. Yes, right now got 27.7%. And no, this is not his fault, got 7.6%. So now, Mike, I did the poll question today.
You have to read that carefully.
Yes, it's a lot. It was a very wordy one. So now today I did the same poll question after what happened yesterday at the Garden with the Nets coming back. So should they fire Thibs? Yes, right now. No, coach of the year gets another shot. Yes, but after the season, or no, this is not his fault. What do you think won, Mike?
No, it's not his fault.
Yes, right now won 48.2%. No, coach of the year gets another shot, 15.6%. And yes, after the season, 26.2%. No, it's not his fault, 9%. So 9.9% of people are really keeping track. So that's really almost 75% of the people said, yes, fire the guy, but either now or after the season. And it's over. It's just cut bait now. There's no reason to hold on the guy. You're not going to extend a 64-year-old coach that's stubborn and not going by what the organization is doing. And sorry, I'm not going to read any shout outs today because I had 2 poll questions and a million things. So, but thanks for commenting at Knicks Central on the poll questions. I'll get to more next week.
And we're still doing Dolan.
We're still doing Dolan J. Trump jersey number trivia. He gives me one number, a Nets, and you one Knicks, and we have to guess them and whatever. I think you get it.
All right, I'll read first. You ready?
Okay. Yes.
Buy his merch. The New York Grind.
Water.
So smart. So smart. He wore number. He didn't say the number.
We'll Google it then, quick.
No, this is what you get.
I get jersey number trivia with no jersey number.
You go first then, so I can look it up.
Okay.
He said, wait, there was an addition. No, then he gave a bonus clue, which has nothing to do.
Still
with
no number.
He wore number he never said the number.
Okay.
I haven't even looked who it is. I don't want to look up with the number. Making me do work. This is ridiculous.
I mean, you could just type the guy's name into Google and we could have done it already. You could have had it.
Well, I already
typed the guy's name, Knicks, and then that's it.
I spelled it wrong, and then the autocorrect didn't even have it. So that's a clue.
As I pick my nose on the video, you're Googling things, and let's go. That's great. Bad weather fans, listen to us.
I don't know what number he is. This is too confusing. You're not getting. He wore 3 numbers during his career. So,
what is one of them blue? So on jersey basketball reference,
it doesn't. I got nothing. Here's the 3 numbers. It's 54, 44, 33.
Okay, it's not 33, so we know that. So 54 or 44. Okay, let's go. There you go.
All right, let me read it. What a schmuck!
Now you gotta get back to
damn thing. He wore number blank during the 95-96 season. His only year in New York.
54 or 44.
But that maybe I'm reading the wrong guy. I don't know. Yeah. I wouldn't even think of that.
Then, we don't
he played for 8 different teams during his 11-year career, most notably with Boston, Milwaukee, Miami, San Antonio, and Sacramento.
Everything's Sacramento. Every episode, he's got somebody who played for the Kings.
He was drafted by the Celtics in the second round of the '87 draft after playing his college ball at Iowa. He just gives you the college. Ridiculous.
With the Knicks, I'm not a college guy. The college guy. So
with the Knicks, he only appeared in 23 games and made 7 starts at center and power forward.
96, 97, center power
95,
forward.
96.
95, 96.
You're looking at your iPad right now.
No, I'm staring at the space, actually. 96, 97.
I need the Knicks all-time roster.
96, 97. Power forward center. Started 7 games. No, 95, 96. I'm sorry. Started 7 games, power forward.
What numbers did I say you could be? 54?
You said 54 or 44, I think. It's not 33. We know that. So, oh, God. Who the hell can this be?
It's 54.
54.
Yeah.
54 was Charles Smith originally, but I don't think that he was still there after 94. Is it Lowhouse?
It is.
Yes. See? Brad Lowhouse. Got him. That was tough, man.
I think I have more clues. You want to hear the rest of them?
I didn't know he started 7 games. That threw me off completely.
He was 7 games. I had 2 more clues for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was acquired by the Knicks in the same deal that included Charles Smith, J.R. Reed, and Monty Williams. Bonus clue: he was a stretch big man way before the time by his time evident by his skill set in NBA Jam.
Yeah, Milwaukee. I think it was Milwaukee in NBA Jam. I think he was. Couldn't be making that up. Okay. That was good, man. See, 90s Knicks, man. He keeps trying to get me a 90s Knicks.
You've been hot.
It's never going to happen.
I've been cold. You've been hot.
Yeah, that was good. Proud of myself for that one. So he wore number 5. This is for the Nets. Nets clue. He wore number 5. What?
Eric Murdoch.
No. He wore number 5 from 90 to 92. 90 to 92 is only 2 seasons in New Jersey.
I've been so slumping lately, and I've had the yips with this. Number 5.
Early 90s, number 5. With the Nets, he appeared in 120 games and made 26 starts.
Okay.
He played for 5 teams during his 11-year career: Detroit, the Nets, Denver, and Miami, and Indiana. So Detroit, Nets, Denver, Miami, Indiana.
Was it Mahorn? Not right.
He was drafted 16th overall in the 1990 draft by the Bucks, and after beginning his rookie season in Denver, he was part of a 3-team blockbuster, which brought him to the Meadowlands along with Drazen Petrovic. Now you should get it.
I know. I suck.
That's all right. No, it's a tough one. But it's a tough one, but I feel like you should know. And you're going to be mad if you don't. He averaged over 10 points and 5.5 rebounds for his career.
Not Sam Bowie.
No.
But I think he was in that trade too. So who was the third player in that trade? I don't know.
He attended the same college as LeVert and Tim Hardaway Jr. So, Michigan.
Yeah, I know that. So he went to Michigan.
Okay, well, let me read it.
No.
Number 5, 1992, 120 games, 26 starts, 5 teams: Detroit, Nets, Denver, Miami, Indiana.
I think he does. I think he's the color analyst for Michigan now.
That I would not know.
Can I Google who the color analyst for Michigan is? Real fast.
So he was drafted 16th overall in the 1990 draft by the Bucks, and after beginning his rookie season in Denver, he was part of a 3-team blockbuster, which brought him to the Meadowlands along with Drazen Petrovic. He averaged over 10 points and 5.5 rebounds for his career. He attended the same college as Karis LeVert.
I know who this is.
And Tim Hardaway Jr. Terry Mills.
Look up what Terry Mills does now. My brain is fucked up. Look up what Terry Mills does.
You're tired. I believe you. Terry Mills. Job.
Terry Mills. Oh my God. Yes. He's the color analyst for Michigan. Is Terry Mills.
Damn, he got big.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I should have known that.
If you go to Terry Mills' Wikipedia page, you'll see what I'm talking about. Man,
I should have known that. Hefty. Man, that pisses me off. That one I should have known. I got Terry Mills' cell in my fucking phone. He's the color analyst for Michigan. I'm positive, or he was. He definitely was, because I tried to text him as a guest when Michigan was in the Final Fours.
Oh, and you were like all excited. And here's the Nets player. Get him on. Whatever. That sucks.
Yeah, exactly. All right, this has been Bad Weather Fans. Good job to you. Bad job by me. I'm slumping. Dolan's kicking my ass.
I'm crushing it,
but it is what it is.
I'm like 4 in a row at least. Yeah.
How many losses in a row for the Knicks? How did you beat the Warriors?
I didn't watch that game. I was so mad at that day of the trade deadline. I did not watch. You remember the episode? And that's why I've been checked out. I've been watching ever since that. But that night, 10 p.m. start, 10:20 start, whatever it was, after the trade deadline, I said, no. Work tomorrow. No, thank you. Sorry. You didn't invest in me. I'm not investing in you and losing my sleep over you. And I missed a great game, but I was not excited about that. And then Thibs got RJ hurt by playing late in the game. I mean, it could have happened to anybody, but, at any time, he just twisted his ankle, but, whatever. Anyway.
Bad Weather Fans, episode 104. Nets, Knicks at the All-Star break. Knicks spinning out of control, losing games left and right. Nets fall to the Wizards, but, they do get 2 wins, which is helpful as they go into the All-Star break, and a lot of mystery and intrigue with the Nets, with the Knicks. Who the hell knows if they can get back on track and just try to get into these play-in games. Man, I got armpit stains. That is heinous on YouTube.
Percentage chance Thibs gets fired by the end of the All-Star break.
10. 100.
Wow.
Nah, I don't think he's getting fired.
All right.
I don't think it's in
I'm
the
going to
Knicks.
go with 75 because of the reports.
We'll see how
today.
dated this gets fast.
Yeah.
Don't fire him because emergency pod. Thibs is fired.
Don't cash out on DraftKings this bet.
Yeah.
Right? Don't do it.
All right, episode 104. Don't forget, subscribe, rate if you're listening or if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you give the thumbs up and tweet us where you're watching at Nick Central. I'm at Mike Delivers Pod. We're in the home stretch now of the NBA, which is unbelievable how fast this goes and how depressing and bizarre of a season it's been. Maybe a little light for the Nets, but we'll find out what happens. Alex, good stuff as always, dude.
Mike, I can't wait to watch Taj Gibson, Evan Fournier, and Kemba Walker crush it in the second half of the season. I can't wait. Have a good one.
I'm awkwardly. I just wanted to end with that. And I can't wait for Ben Simmons to become the best 3-point shooter in the league.
And hit a 10-foot jump shot in the playoffs, right? Yes. Okay.
Yeah. All right. See ya.
Talk to you later.